This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. For a long time, there have been questions about Donald Trump's relationship with Russia. What makes him so amenable to the interests of the Russian Federation? What is it about Vladimir Putin that makes Donald Trump bend the knee to stand shoulder to shoulder with him and commit treason against the United States of America, throwing his intelligence community under the bus to take the word of a despot? What is it? What is it about the Trump campaign taking meetings with the Veselnitskaya, whatever her name was, and trying to get dirt on Hillary Clinton from Russia? Like, what is it? What is it about Donald Trump never having a bad word ever to say about Vladimir Putin, about Russia, about the war crimes being committed against the country, the independent sovereign nation of Ukraine? What is it? And those questions continue today. The country of Russia released a list of 500 people that are being sanctioned. And there's some real questions that are raised based on who they are choosing to sanction. I'm going to read from this website, from the Russian Foreign Ministry. Thank goodness for Google Translate, because I don't speak Russian, so we have to rely on a translated copy here. Statement of the Russian Foreign Ministry in connection with the introduction of personal sanctions against U.S. citizens. And this is their explanation for it. Spoiler alert, it's a lot of enemies of Donald Trump. It's a lot of people who have nothing to do with foreign policy related to Russia in any way. In response to the regularly imposed anti-Russian sanctions by the George Biden administration, I think that's a translation error. Obviously, Joe and George have some similarity. I don't know enough about language to be able to tell you emphatically or definitively why it says George. But by the George Biden administration, which, according to Washington's plan, are designed to inflict maximum damage on Russia by personally affecting officials and ordinary citizens of our country. As a countermeasure, entry into the Russian Federation is closed for 500 Americans. 500 Americans that I'm sure are real sad they have to cancel their vacation to Russia. You hear that, Jimmy Kimmel and Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert? Your Russia vacation is off, brothers. Among them are not only significant figures, including the U.S. President B. Obama, but also current leaders of various levels of executive power, ex-officials like the White House curator for combating Russian disinformation, quote unquote, in Yankovic, who were first elected at November elections 2022, senators and congressmen, experts and employees of quote unquote analytical centers involved in the spread of Russophobic attitudes and fakes, as well as the heads of military-industrial complex companies that supply weapons to the regime of Kyiv. The attached List 500 also includes those in government and law enforcement agencies, and this is troubling here. This really butts up against the agenda and the motives of Donald Trump. The attached List 500 also includes those in government and law enforcement agencies who are directly involved in the persecution of dissidents in the wake of the so-called storming the Capitol. So Russia is now, as Donald Trump is, taking up for insurrectionists who attempted to overthrow the United States government. Yeah. It is high time for Washington to learn that not a single hostile attack against Russia will be left without a strong reaction. The principle of the inevitability of punishment will be consistently applied, whether we are talking about tougher sanctions, pressure, or discriminatory steps to hinder the professional activities of our fellow citizens. And then we get to the list here. Well, first of all, sadly, I'm not on the list. I did Control F and did a find, and I'm not on it. But there are some concerning individuals. First of all, Sanctioned, Michael Byrd, the police officer who killed Ashley Babbit during the so-called assault on the Capitol. The Capitol police officer, Michael Byrd, is being personally sanctioned by Russia. Erin Burnett from CNN, Letitia James, the Attorney General of the state of New York, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Tyrone Colbert, Seth Meyers, Rachel Maddow, Barack Obama, I guess that's relatively understandable, Bradford Raffensperger, that's the attorney or the Secretary of State of the state of Georgia, who wouldn't bend to Donald Trump and find the 11,780 votes to turn the election for Donald Trump. He is being sanctioned by Russia. Joe Scarborough from Morning Joe on MS-NBC. John L. Smith, Jack Smith, the special prosecutor now investigating Donald Trump, sanctioned by Russia. Brian Williams of NBC. Katie Hobbs, the Arizona governor, sanctioned by Russia. And Norman Eisen, you might see him on MSNBC, on CNN. He is an ethics expert. He also is being sanctioned by Russia. So the questions continue. This doesn't answer any questions, but it does raise some more questions about what exactly is going on with Russia taking up for Donald Trump in the way of trying to, I don't think there's going to be any punishment here. This is not going to have any effect on any of these individuals whatsoever, but trying to harm them financially, trying to in some way restrict their travel, like they're all just champing at the bit to get into Russia on vacation. None of it makes sense, but it does, leading into the 2024 election, make the choice a little easier for the American people. Do you want to be an ally of a war criminal like Vladimir Putin, who is forcing his people into a war against a peaceful, sovereign country, Ukraine? Or do you want to be on the other side, the right side of history? It seems that it's making it a little easy to make the case. Fascism is on the rise in the country, though, so who knows? Anyway, what do you think about this? I would like to know. What am I missing? Maybe that's the question. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. Follow me on social media. I'd love to see you there. I am at Dollemore just about everywhere. And if you appreciate what I do, you can go to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. That's the best way. You can also give right here on the YouTube platform. You can click the super thanks, do an immediate support donation to the channel, or become a channel member for $2 a month. All of that goes a long way. If we're able to marshal the size of our audience, it does help a lot. I love you guys. I appreciate you very much on this march to 500,000 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Until I do, as always, be genuine. Take care of one another.